What's going on, everybody? My name is Chris, aka RoboPack92, and you're watching This is the Waypoint, the one and only Star Wars discussion show right here on the Shared Screens podcast. Joining me today is my excellent crew of fellow Narkina 5 prisoners. I don't know. trying to make it relatable. As always, the resident Shared Screens goblin, some other Josh.
One way out.
One way out! Guest of the show, friend of the show, and incredibly handsome Aaron Roots 427.
One way out.
One way out! Joined by other fellow co-star Anakin Skywalker. It's Jim Tasty.
What's up, man? I can't swim, so I'm good.
I can't swim. I can't
Too
swim.
soon.
And ladies and gentlemen, non-binaries of this podcast, somehow Alec Bobko has returned.
Somehow
Alec Bobko.
return. One way out.
One way out! Holy shit, what an episode, boys.
Good lord.
What a fucking episode. I'm so excited to talk to you guys all about it. But before we get into it, of course, we just released a new Shared Screens podcast, Alec, Josh, and I. It was insanity. They said, hey, just go make a podcast. We just need a podcast. Go put it out there, talk about whatever. Let the reins go. It's wild. It's very, very fun.
It went.
And away it went. So
It
please.
brought the
We gave the
idea,
Chaos Twins.
right? Yeah, it brought the idea to the forefront that we're gonna bury a lightsaber at Galaxy's Edge. We have to.
Yeah.
We gotta
We
do
have
it
to
now,
sneak
man.
away with a little tiny shovel and just. And it has to be an Anakin Skywalker lightsaber too. And just-
Absolutely, you gotta
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta do it. They sell the box now that's got like both Anakins
Yeah,
and
man.
Obi-Wans, right? You could just drop the box in there just like in the show. You know, it'd be perfect.
Imagine if years from now they're like, "Oh, we're
What
gonna
is
dig
this?
part of this up," and they find a lightsaber there. That'd be awesome.
They'd be like, "What the fuck happened here?"
It did happen a long time ago.
In a galaxy not so far away. On top of that, coming in the future, we will be reviewing The Incredible God of War Ragnarok. So please keep an eye out for that because that game is something special and you won't want to miss our discussion on that. But of course, today we are here to talk about Andor Episode 10, One Way Out. But before we even
And
get
also
through
a
that,
little bit of episode 9 because we missed it. last
maybe we didn't put it on an episode last week. Whoopsie poopsie. So let's talk about episode 9 real fast. Let's give some quick impressions. 'Cause I got stuff I want to talk about episode 10. Let me tell you, Alec, how did you feel about last week's episode?
Well, as we talked about on the Shared Screens podcast, last week's a bit of a blur for me. So I watched episode 9 like first thing in the morning just because nothing else is on at 6 a.m. on a
There,
Wednesday.
yeah.
So I just remember how intense that episode was.
Mm.
Like with the whole Bix scene there. Like
Incredible,
then-
incredible acting in that scene. That camera
yeah.
shot when it pans and she's looking like right into the camera and you can't hear the thing they're torturing with is brutal.
and like apparently I saw on Twitter like they were actually going to put some sort of sound there, but they said it was just too much of a surreal experience.
Way better not
Yeah.
having it in there.
Yeah, they made the right choice.
Yeah. So
Just-
honestly, like, don't
Go
remember
ahead.
too much else. I know just a lot of setup for this week's episode, which, yeah,
Which went off.
Mm.
Yeah.
more Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. Give me more Andy
Yeah,
Serkis.
man.
Aaron, how'd you feel about episode 9?
Episode 9 was a humdinger of an episode. It was so fucking good. Alec might not remember a whole lot about that episode, but Bix is never going to forget the sounds of children fucking dying played by the Empire. This show is making you hate the Empire in ways that you've never hated them before. Fuck them. Fuck the Emperor. Fuck Darth Vader. They're pieces of shit, and I'm glad they're dead.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, non-binaries. Josh, tell me about episode 9. How'd you feel? What'd you think?
A little bit slower in an episode, but I loved all the planes of action going on. The Bix interrogation. Love the Mon Mothma stuff. If you go back, watch episode 4 of this show. I was saying Vel has to be someone important. Like Luthen is investing too much into the Eldani heist. There's too much that he's putting on Vel, and Vel has such a resentment for the hierarchy in the rebellion.
The hierarchy
Turns
of
out-
power in the rebellion just changed.
Exactly, and I was like, "Who is she? She's someone of importance. Is it Luthen's daughter?" No, it's Mom Mothma's sister. I thought that was
Cousin.
such a great fucking turn.
Cousin.
Cousin?
Cousin.
Cousin.
I thought it was straight up sister. No,
Cousin.
cousin.
Yeah.
Like related. You know, like
Yeah.
still gets to
Family,
be
yeah.
the rich single fighter of the rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Loved all the stuff in the prison with this mystery of what happened on floor 2, what's going on,
Yeah.
and watching the
Oh.
old dude slowly deteriorate, fucking pulling at the heartstrings, man, crying in the club.
Yeah, man.
No,
R.I.P.
no kidding. Brett,
Yeah.
give me your thoughts on 9.
Yeah, I liked it. As we already kind of brought up, like just the building of the tension in the prison that we see play out in this episode, in episode 10, was awesome. The interrogation scene was harrowing. And yeah, like with Cyril too, I don't know where, I still don't know where they're going with him. Like,
Some weird incel vibes. Like that meeting between him and Dedra was so uncomfortable.
Creepy.
yeah.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
freaked
so-
out the fascist. Or he freaked out the fascist.
I know,
That's
dude.
wild.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's a real, just
Also,
like
the
creepy
scene
stalker kind of
Where
thing
he's
going
sitting
on.
in his kitchen, like still eating that cereal, and his mom is like talking shit about him, and then she freaking eats shit after she hears about his promotion. Is so funny.
yeah.
She's like,
So-
I knew they'd see your value. It's like, shut up.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with him. Like,
Mhm.
'cause there's only 2 episodes, and he's still kind of a minor character. So I'm not sure how
Wanna
much
see
more
some
we'll
2?
get of him.
Yeah,
but it
yeah, I
seems
wonder if
he's a
they're building
time
towards the
jump,
next season.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes.
Yeah, man. Personally, I loved it. I thought it was great. I think that was like the first episode where Andy Serkis's performance really started to stand out. Right, just when they're talking with the healer, the med tech, who just another prisoner. I thought that was so cool. Who's like, we don't save people. Like, we just let them. We're just here to help them pass. Like, we don't save anyone. What are you, nuts? Like, you die
They
here.
barely give me any equipment.
Yeah, he's like, no, he's like, you die here. That's just what happens. And them finding out that like what happened on level 2 was that somebody from 4 got released. They just shuffled him down to 2, and people on 2 found out, so they just killed them all. Like, that's
They fried
that
the
in
whole
itself
floor.
is fucking crazy. But just the performance on Serkis's face when he slowly realizes, like, you can see everything that he's thinking and feeling in that moment, and just being like, the thing I've worked so hard to do is a lie.
Yeah.
No one's getting out. Like this is where we die. And I just love this also as again, because I mean, we're almost at the end of this season, and Cassian's not part of the rebellion yet. I think this is finally like the push that of him, like, no longer being apathetic's not the right word towards the Empire, because he doesn't love them, but he's not interested in directly fighting them. You know what I mean? I think this is going to be like the motivator for him to be like, you know what, this is fucked up, and somebody's got to do something about it. And so yeah, I loved all that. I thought that episode was great, and of course it all builds to this incredible, just unreal kick off with episode 10, where we start out with Kino and Andor being like, we're doing it tomorrow. We're getting out. Yes, Alec.
Before we leave episode 9, no more than 12 guards.
Oh, what a line. You get it.
Nobody's listening, and then at the end, how many guards? Never more than 12. He's
Fuck, dude, I
locked
get
it away in his
chills.
head. He's known. He's like, I've
Right?
thought about it, basically.
Those
Yeah.
are real goosebumps.
Oh.
Like, yeah, he's like, he's considered it. You know, like, this is not something that he's
Like-
dismissed entirely.
Right.
Like I was telling you, like I was feeling like absolute crap last Wednesday, but let me tell you, I did my absolute best to just pop off at that line. Just because it was so hype.
So good.
Awesome.
Absolutely incredible, and I love the conversation that the episode opens to, with Cassian being like, look, this is it. We just learned no one's getting out. We have to do something. I've got a plan. We can get out of here. And Kino kind of struggling against it first, until just the weight of everything that's happened, like, finally breaks him. And he goes, you know what? I would rather die trying than die giving them what they want.
Hell yeah, dude.
Unbelievable line. Just
Yeah, man. And
absolutely
you
unreal.
can see with Andy Serkis's acting. Also, first of all, Andy Serkis is magnificent in this episode.
Yeah,
Shout out to
seriously,
Andy Serkis. All the flowers to
seriously.
Andy Serkis. But from when the episode starts, you can see he's still thinking about the guy that just died, who they just wheeled through the room that everyone's working in as kind of like this is gonna be you if you guys like if you guys fuck around. This is gonna be you guys. But you can see him basically like seeing that and then not being able to process it, and then also processing frying the guys on level 2, and then trying to listen to Cassian, but also like you can see him processing all of it in like real time.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like when they're in their cells, he's like, okay, we're gonna do this and we're gonna get everybody out. It's so good. He's so good.
Yeah, it's absolutely unreal performance for Circus throughout the whole episode. I mean, the build up while Cassian's like cutting the water line in the bathroom to short out the floor, which is fucking incredible. That was so
Awesome.
cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
incredible line or incredible
Great.
plan.
Great moment of tension where they flip, like, you know, floor's going hot. He's like caught dead in the water, nowhere near a table to stand on it. And so he's like, you know, closes his eyes, ready for it. And then it opens up and he realizes, like, holy shit, they're not frying anyone. We are getting the fuck out. And they start
works.
climbing.
Cold,
and it's,
boys.
It
Yeah,
worked. We
man,
can we
it's
can
incredible.
go. Start climbing. Like, oh
Yes,
my
dude.
gosh. Prime. Oh man. And so of course we see the payoff to the planning that he was doing with the other prisoner in the beginning, where they start climbing up the lift. These dudes have blasters. They're killing dudes. R.I.P. the red-haired guy. Miss you. Cold, just out cold instantly. They storm the room. They're taking blasters. They're not taking the boots for some reason.
Yeah, take the boots.
I know. I was screaming at him. I was like, "What are you doing?"
I thought they were gonna take the shoes too. I was like, they're right there, y'all.
Not the ISB ones, bro. The hottest drop of BBY 5.
Let's go. And then the audio cuts out and they're all just slipping shoes on.
It's just like,
And it cuts back to them running down the hall.
can you tie a knot? I can't tie this.
They're Velcro, man. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah,
Andor
that's
was a
true.
comedy.
They're space Velcro.
Their breakout leads to a water leak, because the water's still going. The floor beneath them starts to see what's happening. They manage to take their insurrection all the way into the control room. Cassian just ices a dude. He's like, "Turn this thing off."
Yeah.
You guys know what to do, and the tension
Turning
in
it
that
off can mean anything. Poof! I'll turn it off.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'll do it. I'll do it.
Don't
I
just
got
turn
it."
it off.
It was
Cut
like-
the power. He's like, it's hydro.
It was-
It'll take months to get it back. And he's like, I don't care. Fucking shut it
Yeah, just
off.
do it. Just do it. And that moment where finally, like, the emergency power switch is on, they move the Imperials off the line, and Cassian has to sit there and tell him, it's like, it's got to be you. You're the only one that can get these guys to do what they want. And the monologue that comes out of Andy Serkis in this moment, unbelievable.
Incredible.
Chills just
Absolutely
thinking about
unbelievable.
Yeah,
And
many
I-
goosebump inducing moments in this episode.
And I love when he pauses and Cassian goes, "Is that all you got? Come on." Like, I know you can do better than that, bro.
Yeah.
Just sitting there like a hype man at a concert. I can't hear you. Which then, of course, turns into full-scale rebellion for the first time that we've seen on the show, right? The floors are cold. No one is getting out of here alive. Work together, help each other, start climbing. There's one way out.
If you see someone confused or don't know where to go or not moving, move them and make sure they keep moving until everyone's out of here. And all the parts where like people are running around with blasters and they like point at somebody and then it's like more prisoners coming around the corner. It's like, oh cool, they've wiped the whole floor out basically. It's so cool to see.
The shot of all of the prisoners coming out and the again something that Kino touched on is like, they don't have enough guards, and they know they don't have enough guards. We can get out right now, and then it cuts to them all like hiding in this
In a
little
room.
room as the other prisoners are going. They're just like, shut up, they'll hear us. Like, what an incredible moment of just kind of like, essentially, like, these captors now captive. I guess their own thing is just absolutely just fuck the show, dude. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. And of course, the prison break finally comes to an apex. They're at the top. They've hit it. One dude jump. They're like, what do we do? Do we jump? And one dude's like, one way out. I'm going. You know, it's like he full sends. I thought he was. I was afraid he was just gonna splat.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And then other people started jumping, and it was fine. And just the most heartbreaking thing on the show so far of Kino being like, I can't swim.
Can't swim.
Yeah.
And
I hope he got out.
And yeah, just that moment of him sitting back and that payoff is I'd rather die trying than die giving what they want. Is he led these people to their freedom. His job is done, and you can see like the resignation in his face, and it's just heartbreaking, man.
Yeah,
I really hope we see him again.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking's like definitely the best way to put it, especially with like we've seen over the last 2 episodes that, you know, like him go from completely working almost basically for the Empire to then, you know, he's starting to question it once he finds out a whole floor just gone like in a day, not even. And then, you know, to the 12 guards, to the monologue, to everything, to then get there, and it's just one last hurdle, and he like can't do it. And yeah, I hope he like definitely still made the jump. And I like that it leaves it open enough for him to come back either season 2 or maybe in something else Star Wars related. The more Andy Serkis, the better, you know?
Yeah. I really hope we see Kino again.
Me too.
Mhm.
And
I kind of hope we don't. But
Mhm.
if he does come back, I don't want him to see Cassian again, because I think that
Really?
relationship is perfect the way it ends there. Because I think Kino kind of knew, which I was kind of surprised, but I guess it makes sense since it was a prison, that there weren't any like ships or speeders or anything
Right.
near the
Yeah,
top.
just the transports that bring him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just like, yeah, very beautiful if like he led them to freedom, but then he himself couldn't gain that, you know? So
And I also love that sacrifice. I think that could also again just be part of like this catalyst of eventually like leading Cassian to become like this rebel leader, right? Where it was like that was essentially the first domino for Cassian basically to kind of step up and take on this role that we know he has in the future to where he saw somebody else fight for freedom that he himself couldn't have. Yeah, maybe you're right, bro. Maybe I don't want him to come back. Maybe that's perfect. Just how it is, you know.
yeah,
It's pretty
But
poetic.
I selfishly just want more Andy Serkis because his performance was just absolutely unreal.
Just
He's
let
already
him keep
2
playing more
characters.
characters.
Yeah, just recast him again, bro. Just have him in something else.
Yeah, like how John Ratzenberger pops up in every Pixar movie. Have Andy Serkis keep appearing in everything.
Oi, bro,
I'm Lee
McCoy.
Yeah,
I'm his cousin.
Is just like we were talking
Have
about.
him be a Jodo cast. Put him in a Mandalorian helmet, dude. Like
have him be Rio Durant's brother. Apes
We were
together
talking about
strong.
this before the recording. It's just crazy that this character is going to be more memorable than when he played Snoke.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Honestly, and I mean, it's I know that he's like he's the mocap god, right? Like he pioneered the technology. Like I mean, he gave us Gollum and everything. But I mean, yeah, I'm so happy that like what I think is probably his best ever performance is this in Andor without the motion capture.
If
Like
he doesn't get
dude
any
came.
for supporting, like, come on.
Oh,
At
he's
least
got
a
to.
nomination,
He
but-
better
Bro,
fucking get a
Don
nomination. man.
Cheadle can get nominated for 3 minutes in Falcon Winter Soldier.
That's true. That's true.
It will be an absolute crime if he doesn't get anything for his performance there. And he did it with like outside of mocap. Like he came and showed up that he's got the chops, man. He's hanging with the best of them.
And he wasn't crazy like he was in Black Panther for Claw.
I love him as Claw though too. He's really fucking good as Claw.
That is true.
On the other side of things, of course, we see Mon Mothma in her continuous struggle with just trying to essentially like fund a rebellion underneath the nose of the Empire, and her contact, her boy is like, I know a guy, right? And it's this dude who just kind of runs this underground bank kind of deal. He's like, no, I can move money for you, trust me. And I love
Davos Calden.
Yeah, man, which cool name, dude.
Cool name.
Cool name. It's real damn close to Davit Kang, and that's what my brain keeps going to every single time. Knights of the Old Republic, love you.
The character looked a lot like if Anthony Starr or Homelander just was aged up.
Yeah.
I can totally see that. Yeah. And
I love this. Like in terms of like the last couple episodes we've gotten with Mon Mothma, I feel like it's more just talking at parties and getting in limos and the shitbag husband. But I love this because he's like, well, you gotta do something for me. Let my boy meet your daughter, right? And she's like, no, right? And she's like, no deal. Like I'm not thinking about it. And he's like, finally, like the first truthful thing you've said, like finally, like calls her out.
Other way around. Yeah, it's like the first time you've lied to me today.
Yeah. That she's not thinking about it, and like I definitely took that as like, yeah, like he finally called her out on her bullshit, and then was like, she's preparing to sacrifice this shitty family that she has for the rebellion, because like isn't that how she's brought up too? She's just married to some rich guy from the planet she's on, like she's miserable, and her daughter's being such a fucking bitch and deserves this, deserves to just be in an unhappy marriage finally. I hate the daughter, dude. The daughter sucks, man.
I'm almost
all of Mon Mothma's family.
I'm almost curious.
Josh, go ahead, Chris.
Honestly, I'm almost curious if Mon Mothma's not gonna do it, but Perrin does. If shitbag husband is just like, it was just like, hey, I was just talking to this dude.
That's a good call.
I think she will do it because there's the interesting like parallel with her and Luthen, where
sacrificing everything.
We'll get to it with Luthen, where he's and so, but Mon Mothma is still like trying to like keep herself above like what's going on, but like eventually she's gonna have to get her hands quote unquote dirty. So.
Which, well, I'm assuming in the next season that it's like we're gonna see that breaking point, or maybe that's kind of how the show will end. Is it'll finally hit that breaking point where she's like, "Fuck this! I'm the leader of this rebellion." I've been doing this. I've been doing this whole time, right? Which again is something that we've seen in other media, and we know that coincides with this.
I wonder if we'll kind of how Obi-Wan copied Rebels, if we'll get Mon Mothma's speech from Rebels.
I hope so.
That would be awesome.
That'd be cool.
I really hope so. It would be really, really, really cool to see that.
I need to see Mon Mothma doing a line of spice
to prove that she's
all right.
Party. You cool? Are you a cop? No, I'm not a cop. All right, do it in front of us so we know you're cool.
Just
okay,
do this
so
right now.
When Calden was like, I'm gonna bring my 14-year-old son, like. And he's proposing, like he's not proposing wedlock or anything like that. But when he said that, in my head, I had to go Google the quote. But there was a quote. It's in Huttese, but it's Cheskruni do pot slimo. Don't count on it, slime ball. I was like, there's no fucking way. But now you mentioned the husband. I'm like,
bro, what if the kid's like cool though, like.
What if he? Yeah. What if he he shows up in the next episode, and Mon Mothma was like, "Damn, I didn't know you were chill like that, bro."
She's like, "All right, you're gonna meet the kid. It's gonna be fine, all right." And then a little Gungan boy walks in like an idiot.
Rips the fattest fucking vape.
Like, oh shit, he's cool.
Oh my god, he's fucking awesome.
Just like listening to Star Wars trap metal.
Yeah, I just got my learner's permit. We can go out with my dad to the movies.
Crashes a speeder into a building on accident. He's like, oh, my bad, sorry. Whoops.
The whole time everyone's just like, oh my god, this kid's fucking rad, dude. What the hell?
It's awesome. He's the biggest douche of all time. But like all the politicians are like, oh my god,
holy shit, he's so cool.
Fucking rules.
Everyone else is like, he fucking sucks, and then perfect match for this shitty fucking kid that Mon Mothma is, all right? I hate him.
Oh
when
my
the
gosh.
dude was like, oh, boundaries can be liberating, when he was talking about Mon Mothma's like arranged marriage, I was like, no, shut up. Old ways have value. Fuck that dude.
Oh yeah, dude's skeezy.
Like White Goodman, man, he keeps the shackles in the back, you know?
Doing some Game of Thrones arranged marriage proposal bullshit.
Yeah, man.
Hate that guy.
So yeah, I'm really stoked to see where that goes. And then one of the last things that we see is, of course, the ISB has come down on Anto Krieger's pilot, and we see this one dude who's like, well, what if we just took him in anyway? What if we just kind of checked it out? That feels like that would be less suspicious. Like, and Dedra Storm's eyes were so angry that they didn't go with her plan. And then we see the lower levels of Coruscant.
1313.
Shout out
We're on
1313.
level 313, and I'm like, we're so close. Why are you doing this to me?
Come
Go
on,
100 more.
come
The sound
on.
design in this part was amazing.
Aliens,
Amazing.
aliens.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just seeing like the closed hallways and stuff, like just the
Yeah,
so
continuity
rad.
nature of it.
Awesome. And
music
the
was
world's
so
longest
cool.
elevator ride.
Music was so cool.
Yeah.
He reaches up,
There's a
puts
lot
an
of
earpiece
fluid, bro.
in. Turns out it's
Like,
Luthen.
I wonder if the elevators, like kind of like with flights, if you go like on an international flight, like you get like movie, you get some food. Like, I wonder
Oh,
if they
yeah,
do that with the
absolutely. It's like,
elevators on
look, this
board.
elevator's
Nah,
like an
You
hour
got,
long.
you got like
That
4
one looked-
hours in this.
That one
You
looked
got, like, 4
dingy
hours
as
in this
fuck. I
elevator,
imagine
bro.
the only perk
get
you
a-
get
you
out of
get a
that is you could use it as a bathroom.
Yeah, you get to
Dude.
shoot up heroin in it.
Right,
like,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was awful looking.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
horrible. It looked like a truck stop bathroom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We get the
Shaking around
revelation that
all over the place.
we get the revelation that Luthen's got a man on the inside, because of course he does.
Yeah.
Naturally, he's got a man within the ISB,
Named
and it turns out
Lonnie.
that's how, like that's how he's been getting presumably a lot of his information so far. And Lonnie wants out. He's like, I'm done, man. I can't do this anymore. I got a
Lonnie.
kid now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Love that he opens with like, "How's your kid doing?" And he's like,
know,
"I haven't
dude.
talked to you in a year, and this is what you first bring up." Like, oh my god,
it's
dude, he's just
cold,
pulling
dude.
strings.
It's
Yeah,
cold,
man.
bro. Just like the silent threat is like, you can't pull nothing on me. Like,
Yeah, man.
But yeah, his whole revelation is like, look, I'm getting out of the ISB. I just want to leave. And he's like, they're not gonna let you leave. I'm not gonna let you leave. I need you here. And again, just that
We all have
revelation
to
of
make sacrifices.
we all have to make sacrifices. And I love that he's like, here's what I got for you. Like we've got into Krieger's guy. They know that they're coming. And Luthen goes, so what? He's like, I'm gonna let him die. You're more important to me than they are. And he's like, that's 100 men. And he goes, yeah. Like, I love that, and it also just kind of feels like a sort of thing. Of course, Anto Krieger, Saw Gerrera refused to work with. So then I feel like that's also an easy way of it was like, hey, come on, get back with me, Saw. Let's go. Let's talk again. It's all in here, baby. He's always working.
He's got his chessboard.
Absolutely. He's always
He's moving
moving
the pawns
pieces around. And then of course Lonnie's like, look, I've had to put away so much of my life for you just to work with this. What have you given up? Calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I've made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams with ghosts.
Love it.
Fuck, dude!
Love it.
Yeah.
I have
Who's
that,
a writer on this, man? They need an award, a pay bump.
It's the chick that wrote
Shout out to
Chernobyl.
that guy. Awesome.
Writer for
Moment
Chernobyl.
of the season for me.
So good.
Right here. Moment
Yeah,
of the season.
absolutely
I don't know if
incredible.
it'll get
His whole monologue was incredible because you can feel the rage against it, and his whole thing again that just kind of mirrors exactly what we saw with Kino, to where he's like, I'm giving up everything for a future that I'm not going to see. Yeah, it's like I
won't be able to see.
Yeah.
He's
Which
like, I
that
know that
applies
all
to
of my work
Kino.
I won't be able to do.
That applies
I'm
to
Kurt.
Kino. That applies to Cassian.
Cassian,
himself.
yeah.
Like, yeah, powerful, man.
And
Like
and
the
it's
line where he's like, I'm cursed to use the weapons of my enemy to defeat them, or something like that was
Oh,
badass.
and that's what it
So
does.
good,
It's because it's sabotage and subterfuge and like all these things that we don't typically kind of assign to the Rebel Alliance, right? Like they're the good guys.
Right.
They don't do these things, but I mean here he is doing these, and I think it's so cool how they've built him up to essentially kind of be the catalyst to the rest of the movies. right? Like it's like we don't have a New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi without Luthen Yale. And that's
Yeah.
really really fucking rad, and the like his performance there, and just like all the things that he says is again, that better be a fucking Emmy nomination for him too, because that was just absolutely unreal. It's just the most like raw performance that I've ever seen in a Star Wars project.
And
Well, because it's the
Yeah.
first time that character's like actually like kind of showing his like face, so
Like
to speak.
motivations, like we're
He's
we're
right.
finally
so
understanding
guarded
who
the whole
Luthen is.
time, and
He's
this is like the
vulnerable.
first time he really makes himself even like a little bit vulnerable with like
Mhm.
how he feels and his motivations, everything like that.
Which
Yeah, and
is so cool.
It's so sad, obviously, what the Empire is doing to the galaxy, but the fact that so many of these people have to give up so much of their lives and even their lives to further the rebel agenda even 1% or
Mhm.
2% in their lifetime, and it all builds towards something. When we blow up the Death Star and then another Death Star and then years later a third Death Star, but anyway, it's so cool to see that like they will give everything to get an inch further.
Mhm.
It's so awesome.
And it's so much more poignant too, because like we don't see Luthen any other time outside of this, right? Like this is like he's only here in this show. Which I mean, and yeah, like as you guys pointed out earlier, it's also just this incredible parallel for other characters that are along this path as far as like Kino's story, and then Cassian, as we know, is because this whole show builds up to Rogue One, right? Like it's absolutely top notch writing that I love Star Wars. I've enjoyed just about everything that even like Disney Star Wars has made, give or take a movie or two. But like the level of writing and dialogue and performances here is like, I'm excited for Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely no way is the dialogue in that show going to touch this. Like it's not going to come close. And I know it is a different project and it is this story, and I don't like comparing those, but I just want to frame this in a way that it's like, wow, this show is really, really special for this reason, and we only get one more season. So, like, just kind of being able to sit here and enjoy this and have something that's so quality that is on the level of things like The Rings of Power and House of the Dragon and its contemporaries, right? Like, usually Star Wars is just kind of off doing its own thing. This is a direct competitor to pop culture right now as we see it, and that's so awesome.
Yeah, Mando is when you want to like be like, all right, cool. I want to watch the version of Star Wars where people shoot at things and stuff blows up and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's the Saturday morning cartoon.
Philosophical. Yeah, when I want to get philosophical, I'm gonna watch Andor.
Get
Crazy shit's gonna go down, and it's gonna be
Get
great.
Baby Yoda out of here, bro. I want Kino Loy.
I need
Dare
Kino
you.
Loy back, bro.
Dare you.
Crazy is just like this episode in particular is just it's just a phenomenal showing of just how to layer that tension, because you get the whole prison escape, then you get Mon Mothma's conversation, then you get all that Luthen's monologue. It's just like this might, I know I've said this a couple other times, but honestly, this episode, it is something special. Like
and we still got 2 more, baby.
Like, but it's just like I don't know if I've ever seen anything or an episode of TV quite like this.
Yeah, no, genuinely, it's like, even if I were to take like my very large like love of Star Wars out of this, just like as a show, like it's on par with all of like some of my other favorite shows, like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul and all these other things that I think of as just kind of like the peak of what the format can offer. Like Andor's going in there with it. Like, I mean, everything from production to music to set design to performances to writing is all top notch, and it's just. I think people are starting to watch it more now too. I see it more on Twitter every single week, right? I've been hearing more about it. I've finally had to start dodging spoilers on Twitter. Like, people have started doing that, which I enjoyed it while it lasted.
Swimming before I watched.
Enjoyed it while it lasted.
It's interesting with like the conversation on Twitter, like Reddit, other like platforms of like how people are like talking about it in terms of like discussing it, but then like they're like, hey, like you don't even have to like Star Wars to watch this, because
Yeah.
a lot of times with Star Wars, it's like, oh, it's like, Star Wars kind of inverts on itself when it, with a lot of the movies and shows and whatever, where it's like, oh, like,
A lot of baggage.
Yeah.
or it's like, oh, Tatooine, people like Tatooine, let's just go there again and stuff like
Right.
that. Where this show is like completely different on
Well, I mean,
every like scale.
I think a great way to put
And-
that is like Obi-Wan Kenobi is a show that I really enjoyed. It's like I know it's production troubles aside. Obi-Wan Kenobi is a show that you need a lot of prior knowledge to go into to get some of the major story beats, like emotional story
Yeah,
beats.
there's like a
that.
10-minute recap.
Yeah,
Bro, Jango Fett is in it, so that actually
Jango Fett's ship is in it.
No, Jango Fett's in it, bro.
Anyway,
It's better than Andor's
but yeah, like really the only thing you need to watch Andor is maybe just like
Watch
have
maybe.
seen A New Hope, like just to know what Star Wars is. Like that's the only real thing you need to know. You can watch this without having seen Rogue One. Like it's perfectly fine. It's of course things I think are probably more
Somebody
emotional.
who's never seen Rogue One. And
I was
watch
just gonna
Andor.
say, imagine.
Watch them get completely heartbroken at the end.
Oh my god, yeah, just absolutely destroyed. But of course it does. We do see having seen Rogue One, though, of course we do get to see kind of these like thematic parallels, and we get to see how casting like goes there, and how well that they're doing that. Before we get gone, Tony Gilroy recently did an interview that I read over on r/Star Wars Leaks, and there were some fun little interesting tidbits in there. Right. One is I remember in the early days of the show, there was always Gilroy is like, "No, I'm not stuffing this full of Easter eggs. Don't worry." And then we see Luthen's shop, and it's full of Easter eggs, and everyone's like,
Right.
"No, it's not supposed to be any Easter eggs in this show." Tony was like, "Yeah, I didn't know about any of that stuff until everyone else saw it, and I went online." He was like, "I saw the significance of a bunch of these pieces," and he goes, "Yeah, sometimes they just sneak shit in there that I'm not aware of." That's a direct quote, by the way.
Man.
That's a direct quote, by the way. That's out of the words.
I
of
think
Tony Gilroy.
I think he meant, and I don't know if he did this part of Rogue One, but like with Dr. Evazan,
Yeah.
and Ponda Baba, where it's like right in the
Yeah,
screen,
yeah.
it's like,
Obviously,
hey,
like
remember these
Luke,
guys?
he meant like Luke Skywalker's not showing up in this or
Right.
whatever is what he meant. But I still find that really really funny. Where he's like, "Yeah, I didn't know this shit was in there." Like,
Yeah.
he's like,
It was
the
just set
story.
decoration.
Yeah, story group was just throwing shit in there, and I like that.
Yeah.
Dude, we really got a 10-year-old Luke and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. And Leia.
Hello there.
And she was excellent.
Hello there.
Hello there.
And he has to, he's contractually obligated to say that line to little Luke,
You have to
In every Star Wars appearance from now on, you
Forever.
has to say
Yeah.
that.
forever, and I'll love it every time.
Celebration every year has to say it.
I'll love it every time.
Hello there.
I think the Easter egg stuff, like we've talked about it on previous episodes, it's always been like more if you know, not them.
Which is
beating you
way
up.
better. It's way better.
Well, that's
than
how an
just being
Easter
like,
egg should be, right?
Yeah.
These are proper Easter eggs. They're not shoving it down our throats. Another quote that I just wanted to pull out that I really liked from Gilroy's interview is that he says, Luthen is in a very tough spot, and his position over the next 5 years is only going to get more complicated. You're seeing the beginning of those issues in episode 10. That's also one of the major food groups we'll be dealing with in the second season. Something I've been kind of thinking about as the show's going on is just like what happens to Luthen, like where's his exit in this story, and that would appear to be in season 2, not in season 1.
Mhm.
Which is very very cool. I like that they're sticking around. I really and I mean I get the feeling that of course Cyril Karn probably sticking around. I don't think like Dedra is gonna die either. Like I really like this commitment to these characters and them being the story even in season 2 after this time skip and theoretically like the rebellion is bigger and doing all these things. Like that's all very very exciting.
I think in season 2, Palpatine realizes something's afoot. He's like, man, who's the best bounty hunter to... I'm not gonna finish it.
Dengar.
I could just meet him right now. You know?
He couldn't even say it without.
He couldn't. Yeah, he
laughing.
couldn't get there.
I was gonna say like, man, like does Saw Gerrera have his breathing apparatus yet? Because like maybe Saw's like, dude, you're too radical for even me, dude. And they go and they kind of do like a like Greedo, Han Solo shoot each other at the same time, but like, Saw kills him, and then but Saw gets hit in the chest, and then that's why he has the breather in Rogue One. But that's my head. That's me.
I assume season 2 will
You're
probably get
too
more
radical
Saw.
for me is what Saw's gonna say when he sees Davos Calden's son. He's gonna be like, dude, you're even more rad than I am.
Bro, you're too
He'll
radical.
cut Saw's foot off.
He'll just be like, red.
His breathing
Do red
apparatus.
for me.
His
That's
breathing
sick.
apparatus. Big fucking vape that the kid gave him.
Let me get a hit of that, child.
That's fucking tight.
And of course, the episode ends. We see alone Cassian Andor and Melshi making their way across the beach on a planet with 3 moons, which is very cool.
Awesome.
I love it when Star
that's
Wars
the
just
Easter egg.
adds extra moons. Like, fuck yeah, dude. Why not?
If you look closely, one of those moons is the Death Star.
It's just it's the Death Star.
It's representing one of each, dude. One of the moons is unfinished.
Dude, what am I
No.
saying, bro?
There
Oh
are 3
my
proto
God.
Death Stars that they built before the actual one. They're
Dude, I'm crying
prototypes.
right now.
Yeah, they're prototype Death Stars.
Oh my gosh! But in all seriousness, I loved how it was just those 2, and like everybody just was like swimming. It was not a concerted like breakout, like
Yeah.
organized effort. It was just like, hey,
Just get out however
Yeah.
you can.
I liked how
Survive.
Because with Narkina 5, I thought it was like all ocean. That's just what I assumed was Star Wars. But the fact that they were
Right.
able to like swim to some like flat
Land.
land or something
Mhm.
like that, yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, had a real like almost deserty kind of quality, like lots of sand and cliffs and dead trees and stuff. But yeah, man, really good fucking episode. Just
So good.
really good fucking episode.
What departure did you? I guess favorite departure, Nemix or Kino?
I gotta go Kino,
Kino.
man. Yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nemix
Favorite departure?
my favorite death.
I guess,
guess.
death left.
Although I mean,
I
Kino's
would-
not confirmed dead, but like yeah.
I would say
Right,
Kino
but
because there's a lot of meaning to it, and it's so like obviously Nemec was sad because of how unexpected it was, but I feel like Kino's was more noble in a way because he's like, we're getting all these people to freedom. He's like the Red Skull. I can lead others to a treasure I can't possess, and that's freedom. So he's like, have fun, guys. I might. Yeah, I'm right behind you. Don't worry, I'm right
yeah,
behind you.
no, yeah, just go on.
And then maybe he's not. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I like Nemix solely based on like wrong place, wrong time. Like
Of
they
course.
weren't accounting to like get out of there at such a like angle in which a big thing of just credits is gonna crush them, and it's just so violent like that. That was the moment where this show was like, oh, anyone could go at any time. Like,
Yeah.
and
It wasn't from a
and that's
blaster
why I
or
love that.
anything. It was just
Well, yeah, I
an
love that
oversight.
it's this almost like ignoble thing to where it was an accident, right?
Yeah.
And I almost wouldn't say that Nimitz like didn't have any sort of meaning though either, because he was essentially, it was like he was the one that was there for the cause, right? Like he was the one that
Yeah.
voted. He wrote a manifesto.
Yeah,
He's
his own
got all that
manifesto,
stuff.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he was there for that, and then like the first time they do something, like an accident is what kills him, and that's really really
Well-
sad. I think I'm still partial to Kino's, like, just because like I loved that character and that sacrifice and that story, but like Nemix was really really good.
Yeah.
Where's
and
Nemec's manifesto now? You think?
I'm assuming Cassian
It's
still
gonna
has
be
it.
like.
Or I guess yeah, it's in Space Miami in his box in the shower.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
It's gonna be like Watchmen, where Shark like dies, but his manifesto gets sent to that
Yeah.
newspaper. Somebody's gonna send that to
Send it to the presses, dude.
Yeah.
To the
Django,
space news
Django
reporters.
Fed at hotmail.com. And
I almost wonder if he maybe like imagine if he
Journal
like
Jango
left
Fett.
it left it on Ferrix and like Marva has it and like something happens to Marva and somebody else finds it and then yeah that's the That's
Also
the
the
spark
parallel.
that lights the fire that will burn the First Order down.
The parallel of before the heist on Aldani, how Nemec like couldn't sleep and Cassian could because he had no like personal investment in that.
Mhm.
And then before the prison breakout, like Andor, he can't sleep, man. He's
Right.
That's a
nervous,
good point. I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good note.
That's fantastic. Anyways, I think
And the
it's in
third Death
Luthen's.
Star, bro.
I think it's in Luthen's shop, and Luthen's like, man, there's some bars in this book, man.
Yo, this shit
50,000
fire!
credits, dude. This shit
I
fucking-
think it's in the special crawl space in the Millennium Falcon with the sacred Jedi text.
Nice.
Luthen
That's one of the books, bro.
Luthen opens that book. He's like, "This kid is spitting."
50K,
But
50K.
what if Cassian left it with Marva, and then like because the Empire ISB or whatever is like monitoring her, right?
Yeah.
So what if they go into her house and they find that and they're like, "What the fuck is
What
this?
is
You writing
this?"
this? You trying to be a rebel or some shit?" And then we get a moment where she's like, "I always have been," and just starts beating the shit out of stormtroopers. That'd be awesome.
Fuck yeah, dude. It's
I mean-
that meme of like, what are you, some kind of rebel or something? Always have been.
Right? Yeah.
She's been stockpiling the pills that she's not taking, and she just makes them all OD and die.
Yeah.
It's just straight injection, bro.
God.
Does that answer your question for you, Alec? On that note, this is the Waypoint. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're very, very excited about Andor episode 11, and I hope you are too. If you enjoyed episode 10, you have one way out, and that's into the YouTube comments to tell you how much you enjoyed the episode. We will see you at the next Waypoint. Oh, I have to kill the recording, don't I?